I know people are wondering, my God, is there no sound or what's going on? Video part 2. YouTube video. YouTube video. Why? Because if you're not doing YouTube videos, you are missing probably the biggest opportunity for your online presence. Now, of course, we're speaking to small business owners, people who are trying to get going, launching some kind of an online outreach, whether it's business or personal or creative as a hobby or whatever it is. You have to be using video on YouTube. So that's the point of this whole hour. And why is that? We are going to be covering the points with these various issues. But in the meantime, good morning, Saturday morning Marketing Smarties. And welcome from Southern California, San Francisco, North Carolina, and Florida, because that's where all of us come from, the various corners of the map. And however, I know that you're probably attending from all over the world, we're different continents, countries, and cities. And from wherever you are, I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for coming. And I hope that this program is of value to you today. I will off the cuff here clarify a few things to the people watching, because many people might be thinking when they think of YouTube, they think of YouTube ads. And now, although that's a key element, we're not going to be focusing on ads today, because the concept is, if you have a YouTube presentation, if you're thinking about, gee, I'm going to make a lot of money on the ads that are posted on my YouTube videos, you're in for a real surprise and a real challenge. And that's not the challenge that we are focusing on today. We are focusing on you building an outreach, a connection, a relationship with a few individuals at a time, and build this up into a community that makes sense for your business. Because as last week we had Jimbo Marshall talking to us, and he was saying, you don't need thousands of people, you just need a couple of hundred of focused individuals following you. And that's what we are attending to today. So although ads are an important thing and we would like to cover it, we are not going to be focusing on ads today. We might touch on them, but that's about it. And before we carry on, I'm seeing a lot of regulars, and I can't speak all of your names. I wish I could, but as soon as I get started, I'm going to miss somebody, and they're going to say, "Oh my God, he didn't mention my name. Roland must not care," and that's just not the case. I really appreciate all of you coming, and so many of you are regulars. You're here every week, and so thank you very much. Before I ramble onwards, because I tend to get carried away, let me introduce the other people sitting in our panel today. We'll start with Karen V. Chin. She's a San Francisco marketing consultant and a social media engagement specialist, owner of the 14 Days of Music Challenge. Karen, please say hi.
Hey, Roland. Glad to be here. Looking forward to learning all about YouTube today.
Oh, you're learning, huh? Well,
I'm learning.
Well, this is a subject that that several of us have been deeply involved in the last few years, and so we'll be able to return some of the online presentation knowledge that we have been receiving from you in social media. So thank you very much for being here, and I'm sure you can provide some insights as a learner, as a viewer of what we're presenting. So you can focus us on the best questions. And now next, let's see, we're going to go to Terry Lee Britton. He's a man of many talents. He's layered with a keen sense of humor, and he runs a program that you got to see on Sunday nights called the Blue Juice Jubilee Variety Show. Say hi, Terry.
Hey, everybody. It should be a great show because we're talking about YouTube, which is an incredibly great topic. That really, it's not that hard to grasp the concepts, but you should grasp them. It's an important thing to grasp. And I'm going to be learning too because I don't know that much about the cards feature that Molly's going to be talking about. So I'll be all ears also.
Yeah, thanks, Terry. I'm really happy to be a part of this presentation today because I take pride in the fact that if I'm speaking with a client or if anyone's speaking with a client, they should be as current and as contemporary with the latest things happening and the opportunities that are available to people, because there are a lot of marketers out there who are advertising yesterday's news and talking about the one that cracks me up the most is like, gee, I can show you how to put at least 40 or 50 more keywords into your presentation to enhance your social media, your SEO outreach, and your website attractiveness. And then if you do that, well, that's another subject for a day on websites. But if you do include a bunch of keywords into your website, you basically are screwing yourself. So, excuse me, am I allowed to say that word on? Oh, good. Oh, screwing. I guess I should get off the subject now and return to internet marketing. But that was kind of fun. Okay, and our last lady I want to introduce. Thank you, Terry, by the way. The last lady I'd like to introduce is Molly Youngblood Geiger. She has a community of her own called Marketing Online, Leveraging YouTube. And I call her the Google lady, so I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, and then I'll have a couple of last comments before we really dig in. Go ahead, Molly.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my name is Molly Youngblood Geiger, Design Right for You out of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm very active on Google in respect to I am a Google Rising Star. I'm also in the Google Partners community, a community ambassador, and I also participate in the Google Small Business community as a business advisor.
Thank you, Molly. And we're going to hit you up for a long string of points regarding YouTube in just a minute. But first, I would like to cover a couple things. First, as I mentioned, there's no way we're going to cover everything about YouTube in an hour. So we've definitely segmented off the whole concept of ads. But I wanted to mention that Imran SQ posted earlier in the comment stream a link that does attend to the concept of ads. And although I don't want to send you streaming into a research study on ads, Imran, you're welcome to post that again, and if people are interested to capture that, and that'll give them a lot of great points regarding ads. But the focus on the subject today is definitely not on ads. So we're going to be moving on, and I wanted to cover these 3 points regarding YouTube videos. Why should you use video at all? And so some of it's obvious, right? The first thing is that it's the best delivery system where you get a visual and an auditory and convey personality and presence, and can be really real because you're right there on the video. You have the opportunity to put the camera on yourself and show people, this is who I am. This is really who I am, and that you can't get any more real than that unless you're going to meet in person or do what they call an HIRL, hang out in real life. And that's not happening as much as we want to, but when you're dealing with a global presence, this is as good as it gets. So we're hanging out today doing the video thing. Also, the second thing that I always tell people, and very few people can get it through their minds what this represents, but that is that YouTube video enhances Google ranking. If you want page 1 search results, your quickest way to it is to develop YouTube videos connected with a Google Plus account and your website. And that's a discussion, of course, for another day. But the idea is, if you do engage in YouTube, it's going to help your Google ranking. It's going to boost your presence, and you're going to find yourself more than likely on page 1 if you do it right, because the opportunity is now. And the last thing is, as you're doing it, nobody's doing it right. Very, very few people are doing it right. So not only is your competition low, but in your category, in your niche, you might have zero competition, because if you do those things, have a website, have a Google Plus account, and fill it in properly, of course, and a YouTube account properly set up, as Molly's going to talk to us about today, you are going to have the opportunity for page one search results more than any other methodology. And my constituents might correct me on that, but I think that that's the magic combination, and that's why we call it, why I call it the internet marketing tripod. They're the three things you need. So now that I've covered those things in general and given my little opinion on how it goes, I want to turn this over to Molly and have her give you the encapsulation of kind of like a beginner's module on YouTube. Are you ready, Molly?
Yeah, absolutely. There's several different subjects I want to go over today on how businesses can utilize YouTube to get exposure for their business. So primarily, the very first thing you need to do is get a YouTube account. That's obvious. Once you get your YouTube account signed up, you're going to want to start recording videos. There's a couple different ways you can go about doing this. You can either use just your video camera on your laptop or your computer to record videos, or you can use Google Hangouts On Air. My experience has been that with Google Hangouts On Air, it gets a lot more visibility than just regular videos that are uploaded. But there is a way to actually go in and optimize videos that have been uploaded. For example, once you have your account established, you'll be able to start a channel. Once your channel is a certain age, you'll be able to actually go in and customize that channel to where you will be able to give that channel a specific name. So let's say, for example, you want to name it the name of your business. So once you are able to go in and update that and you start uploading videos, you'll have an opportunity to actually optimize those videos. And what I mean by optimize is within your settings, there are ways to add keywords and to add descriptions to the videos. And a lot of people don't do this because they think, it's a couple extra steps, it's not really worth the time to go in and do that. But actually, that has a lot of bearing on the visualization of those videos, meaning the SEO practices. Now, above and beyond that, you have Google Hangouts On Air. That's something where, like what we're doing today, we're doing a live Hangout presentation. And I can share with you my own experience that when I first started hosting Google Hangouts On Air, I did a search. I said, how do you host a Google Hangout on Air? Which brought me to a video that had been uploaded and embedded on the Forbes.com website. And from there, I actually started interacting with the hostess who was hosting that Hangout. And before I knew it, I wound up co-hosting the Hangout. So that right there, I think, is a real case scenario on how Hangouts On Air has a lot of SEO bearing because of the fact that if you're able to take and add to that title what it is the video is about, and someone's searching for that subject, you're going to find their video. So above and beyond that, something recently that has happened within the last few weeks is the use of cards. And some people have heard about cards, some people haven't. It's something that they've introduced just within the last few weeks. But essentially what cards do is they add more visibility to the video in the sense that you can add a website to a card, you can add images, you can add, say if you have a shopping cart that you are selling a t-shirt you're selling products from, you can add a blog to it. So there's a lot more different, I guess, add-ons that cards offer versus just having a plain video uploaded to YouTube. So from that, I can share with you my experience with cards has been outstanding. I went in once they made the announcement, and I have several Hangouts on Air that I've done. I've been doing Hangouts pretty regularly for about 6 months now, and went in, I went in and optimized one of my videos with cards and just added my website to it. and I went into Google Analytics and added a funnel to see if that would actually bring in more traffic. So I've been monitoring that for a few weeks now, and it has. It actually has brought more traffic to my website by going in and just adding my website to my cart. And I think something else that's important about video cards is if you have a logo, if you have a brand, you're able to upload that logo or that picture to the card, which will again associate that video with your brand. So that's kind of been my experience with YouTube. I can say for myself, a year ago, I was very, very camera shy. I wouldn't even get in front of a camera. I remember there was some type of small business grant program, and I was so shy when, and it was one of those things where I was required to submit a video, and I was so shy, I actually pointed my cell phone camera at my website on my laptop and recorded my video that way, and it was through just interacting with people on Google Plus and people in the Google Partners community that I learned that video is essential. It's something that you're not going to get away from. It's not going away. But for me, it was overcoming that hurdle of getting used to being on video. When I first started, I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way my voice sounded. I just didn't like any of it. But it was through just watching Hangouts, attending them, and then ultimately practicing that I started getting comfortable with myself, with my voice, with the way I look, with the way I conducted myself, and started taking use of the benefits of YouTube.
One of the comments being made pertains to this, and we can take a look at it quickly. Rain Dowell says, I like how some people are recording video straight from their iPhone or Android too, and then edit them and upload them. So there are some new apps out there and various ways for people to add very easily video that is totally acceptable on YouTube. So with that, I'll interjection, I'll hand it back to Molly.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting concept because in the mobile landscape, we do have the ability to, I mean, literally be anywhere at any time and record a video, even if it's just a quick 15-second video, you know, and right from your cell phone or your smartphone, be able to upload it to your YouTube account. So I think that's a very important point that Rain made, that, you know, video is something that's very accessible to most people that have smartphones or tablets, and, you know, why not make use of something that is right at your fingertips?
Did you have something to ask about that, Karen? Oh, okay. I had a comment regarding something earlier that you said regarding the YouTube cards. Hey, Molly, is a YouTube card alive in the video presentation that has links that you can click while in the video itself?
Yes. What a YouTube card is, it's almost like an advertisement, like you would see at the beginning of a YouTube video, but the only difference is it's not a paid advertisement, meaning it's something that is associated with your account. So what happens is when you configure a YouTube card, is that card actually populates as a little icon. And so what happens is, as the viewers watching your video, if they decide to click on that icon, it will actually display the link to the website or to the shopping cart or to the blog. And then from there, as the person's watching the video, they can click that link and visit whichever link that you decided to display.
Cool. So I don't know if this was something that you had prepared or not, but is there a possibility of being able to show our watchers what a video card is?
I actually don't have my own presentation. I do have a presentation, though, from someone who has done a quick tutorial. So if you don't mind, I can share that presentation very quickly.
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and prepare that, and I think Terry had something that he wanted to ask or add.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if the card shows throughout the video, or you can control when it appears and disappears. And if there's any animations and stuff, like how it slides in or anything cool, any coolness?
Right. It's not really like an animation. It's more, like I said, like a display advertisement where it does appear throughout the entire video, but it's not really animated in the sense that it's not doing anything. It's more like an icon that's displayed. If you want, I can display the tutorial I received earlier this week, and let me do a screen share real quick and get this going. I might need a second to get this going, Roland, so I don't know if there's any comments or questions that others might have.
Sure. I can take it for a moment here unless anyone else has something pertinent that they would like to slot in here. But the concept of this YouTube video cards are so important because it's right in the video. It's not the person in the video saying, okay, look down below the video here and click the link in the comments or in the description or the something. You literally are looking at the link that will take you somewhere and be effective. And that's a leap ahead of the kind of video programming or the call to action that video has been noted for. And you know, this is similar as to what they call in-video programming. I don't know if my other constituents are familiar with in-video programming, but literally you can design a button and put the button in the video and then identify the area that is the button in the video and make it clickable, which means that you can hover over the video face itself and see a button and be like a fish looking at bait. You see the button and you literally cursor over it and you click it and it takes you to a web page or a URL someplace. So that's something that has not been even very well used and is not predominantly understood or known. But in-video programming has been around for going on 2 years now. So anyway, I would like to take it back to Molly and talk about, she has a sample presentation of a video card, a YouTube card.
Yeah, just give me a quick second here.
I was
Sorry,
too
I'm
soon.
having a little tech problem here with displaying.
Okay, I can see it.
Oh, you might have to set presentation mode for Molly so she shows up by herself.
I think I've
just
done
did.
it.
You just did it.
Yeah, I'm having some issues presenting, so I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
So I'm trying. It's playing right now, but it's not displaying for some reason. So.
Okay, that's
we
okay.
saw it a second ago when you had your screen share on, but it looks like the screen share turned itself off.
I'm not sure. Again.
So let's go ahead and move on, but we'll talk about from the stand. Oh, there it is.
Oh, is it presenting now?
Looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, we can all see the video. Now it's back to you.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. I'm hitting play, it's playing. I'm having some tech issues.
Yeah, maybe Molly, just put the link into the event stream for everyone. We can watch it, at our leisure.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll do that right now. Sorry, guys, I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I'll do that right now.
Okay, the main thing to understand about we lost Molly altogether. The main thing to understand about the in-video YouTube cards is that the card appears in the video, and as you look at the card, it takes up some space on the video stream, and literally it's like a little advertisement, promotional identification card, not like a typical ad that you would have. A paid ad interrupting your video or being placed into place. It's a card for identification purposes. And it's handy because it's one of those things that if the people are interested in what you're saying in the video, and are actually involved with that, and they go, I think I want to contact these people. Then when the card pops up, it's a direct link to contact. That's what it's for. It's for identifying something that the person promoting the video wants to link you to. And therefore, it's like a professional ID thing. It's considered very upbeat and very, is very forward from the standpoint of this is who I am professionally, and I can present myself in that manner instead of like some sleazy, cheesy push at trying to get people to click a button and drop them into your funnel or to corner them into a conversion. It's an option for the viewer.
So Molly and Roland and Terry, for the audience, I think in particular, we have a lot of newbies out there who are not necessarily familiar with creating YouTube videos. I know we had a conversation last week with Jimbo, and his suggestion was basically just start with your smartphone and start filming. With that, do you, from your perspective, besides smartphones, what other tools, editing tools, things that for someone who's just getting started, what would they need to kind of showcase their business or personal brand?
Molly, did you have a follow-up for that question? And I can add some stuff.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Karen. Some of the challenges I had to overcome was position, backdrop, lighting, microphone. Those were all things I really had not taken into consideration when I started filming. But it is so important to make sure you have a good backdrop, and it doesn't have to be anything snazzy. It could be something as simple as just a plain background or something with a picture in it. If you have something with your brand on it, like a banner or a logo, something of that nature, I definitely would recommend using that. In addition to that, lighting is very, very important, and that was actually a big challenge for me when I first started recording, because I had some very, very, what we call our hard shadows, which really were not very aesthetically pleasing. And so I am by no means a professional camera operator, and so that was something I had to actually research to get the right lighting. But the way I overcame it, I just have a series of different lamps on different things that I found, that I wanted to highlight. For example, I don't know if you can see behind me, but on my Google banner, the Google, the G's highlighted, and I did that specifically because I wanted to highlight the fact that, I'm affiliated with Google. In the back, I actually have a lamp that's underneath my Google business banner because I wanted to highlight that. And in addition, I have a couple of lamps situated around my desk and across the room that just kind of highlight me in general to kind of soften the shadows around me. So I think that was a big consideration that I had not taken into consideration when I had first started recording videos. Something else that I think is important, and I know this sounds silly, but make sure you have something to drink next to you, or make sure you have a tissue, or just things that you normally use during the day, because I mean, when you get on a hangout for an hour, you're gonna need something to drink, or you might need to to rub your nose or something. So I think those are important things to take into account whenever you're recording on video as well. I think
so. For the question about the lighting again, I know people have questions about whether it's incandescent light bulbs or fluorescent or LED. What are your thoughts on that?
Right. I use a variety of different lighting, but I think it's really just about experimenting, meaning just going out, whatever you think is the right lighting for you, and testing it out. Just going out, setting up the lamps, recording some test videos, and just seeing what works. I know when I recorded my very first video for the Google Small Business Community, I had like 7 lamps on me, and I had repositioned them, and I just couldn't seem to get the right effect that I wanted. So I just totally scrapped that whole idea, and I went to a totally different room. I went out, I went to a local thrift store and bought just several different lamps, thinking, one of these has got to work. And it was just through trial and error, and recording that I finally came up with the right lighting for myself.
And then you bought a new house that faced east, and no, you know, you could go to an extreme when you're setting these type of things up. And one thing to remember is that what you want to do is, because some people's budget is like zero, right? And the differences are, you can set up a pretty easy camera shoot with lighting for a couple $100 or less. Or some people have gone to the hardware store and bought a couple of floodlights, and it's enough. So not only do you have little packages that you can get for $100 to $200, but you can also be very creative with what you're doing. In my case, I don't have lights on me except for a small fluorescent room light above me on one side into my front room. But for the most part, I am unlit when it comes to additional lighting. But
one thing I would add to the lighting is it's very important not to have a window in the background. That's a mistake I see a lot of times, where people will sit in front of a window, and it's even worse when they have it open, because the natural light that comes in, it's a lot different. You can't really control it because it's changing too at the same time. So that's one thing I recommend, is really when you're setting up, is avoid setting up in front of a window if you can.
Okay, and I think that here's my friend Albert is commenting in lighting diffuser to cut out the harsh lighting. Yes, you can get basically these screens in front of a lamp and a huge shade, which feeds the light into the room gently and makes a big difference on your lamps. And one of the things I was going to say earlier is the lighting that Molly is talking about is having the window behind you. When you say sitting in front of a window, it means the camera's on your face and the window's behind you, and that's a bad idea. Basically, it turns you into a shadow for the most part. And so what you want is, if the window is in the room, make the window on your face. It should be from a direction in front of you, so that the light comes in and shines on your face and illuminates your face. And that way you're going to have the best option for finding some balance of natural lighting, which is basically what I do.
I wouldn't use sunlight at all. I seal up the windows in this room so that I don't get any in, because it's always changing with the clouds blowing past and different times of day, and so I don't even let it in. And plus, it's a different color temperature than most people are going to be using for their lighting for the lamps. Now, daylight is a much cooler, bluer kind of a light. It's 5,000 K, typically the average, 5,000 Kelvin. Whereas I'm using those curly lamps, and all 2700, which is a warmer light. And they're just those curly lamps you buy, a bunch of 100 watters. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them in here, but it burns a total of 150 watts. It's like crazy.
So curly light bulbs for everyone. That means they're fluorescent.
The fluorescent ones, I forget what they call those, but the new ones that you see everywhere, and
we
they are cool
here with all our terminology.
Right. They're very cool. I would never use an incandescent. They get so hot and the room gets boiling, whereas these stay cool. They do not heat up the room very quickly at all, and they're cheap, and you can get them in anywhere, a grocery store. And but you do need lots of light for video. The more light, especially if you're using a webcam, if you're using low light, then your camera is actually working very hard, turning up the gain, and it lowers the frame rate, so your movement is not smooth. And if you do like this, you'd get a swishing of the fingers where they'd all blur together. Mine are blurring together only a little because my camera's got enough light to run at the full 30 frames a second. But if I was at lower light and I did this, it would be more like you're seeing now, with a really fast blur. It would be all blurry for any kind of motion because it would be stepping down the number of frames it sends every second to more like 10 or 9 or even less, 6. And that's always because of low light. Plus, you're working the whole processor, the processor inside your webcam and your own CPU, much harder because it's having to work overtime to compensate for the low light in amplifying that light. The gain, it automatically sets the gain higher. And that makes for a grainier picture, and also you're putting strain on your central processor, and it's already chugging away trying to even get the video made. You know, you're just trying to record the video, or especially to transmit a video on a Hangout on Air. So you need to get that as much light as you can into the story so that you overcome all those types of issues and get really clear video through the whole presentation.
So Andrew actually has a really great comment I just wanted to show everyone as we're talking about light. His suggestion is I use a clamp light and a compact fluorescent, which is at CFL, which Bill Graham and
CFL.
Craig H. are mentioning. The technical terms here, not the curlies. A compact fluorescent daylight bulb. Be sure never to use soft white. It produces too much of an orange or yellow light.
Well, actually, the ones to really avoid are the ones they call natural light, and they make a very, very strange color cast to things, so avoid those. 27, you'll see on the side of the box it says 2700K. Typically, those are the warmer lights that tend to do better for video, and so you don't look very blue. You don't look bluish. You look more warm and warmer flesh tones. And whereas if you use the cooler lamps that are more like daylight, or what they call a cool light, and those are 5,000 or even 9,000 Kelvin. The higher the number there, the bluer the light is. And although you can compensate somewhat with the white balance in your webcam software or your camera software, it's still a compensation that necessarily would have to do if you just used a warmer light to begin with.
So as we're talking through light and we're going through the mechanisms here, I think the other question was tools in terms of editing. What Jimbo was talking about last week was... Go ahead.
Let's cut that off for the moment, because now we're into video production, and I'm actually going to be inviting Albert, who is in our comment stream right now, into the Hangout in the next coming weeks to talk about specifics, video production and those things. But the subject today is YouTube. So although creating these things for YouTube is essential, what I want to stay focused on is, what do you do with YouTube? Not with the video, but the content of the video, the development of the video, and all those things are vastly important and cannot be avoided. You can't just decide, gee, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to put it on YouTube and that's going to make me rich. It's much more complex, and the goal should be set much more reasonable than that. But in the meantime, I will say, people, I appreciate your comments. Everyone's contributing great stuff. Albert, regarding the microphones, vastly important, and the lighting issues, the framing, we could really get into a lot of details, and Albert's going to help me do that in a couple of weeks, few weeks here, coming up soon. We've got several of our programs set up, but we are going to get into video development production. So if you'll have patience with us, but right now I want to spend the next few minutes. We're 2/3 through our hour, and I want to make sure that we're covering everything regarding YouTube, because the objective of today is to get people encouraged to get started. So if we're discussing things that people are going to look at and say, oh gee, I can't get the lighting right, oh gee, I can't get the microphone right, I guess I can't do this, now you've just defeated yourself. When I'll tell you the truth, I'm sitting here sponsoring my own Hangout series with a $20 headset microphone and a under $20 video cam on my computer, and I'm sitting here at my computer running this program. So you do not have to have thousands of dollars set up in order to engage in Google Hangouts and start your promotion right now. So I hope that point is clear, and it's probably the most important thing that we're doing today is
Yeah.
encouraging people to get started and try it out. We have programs like Rain Dowell's program, it's called Lights Camera HOA, and she features people who are new at this, have never done it before perhaps, and barely have a webcam and a microphone on their heads, and she brings them in and gives them an experience in HOAs and introduces them to many things. So there are a lot of opportunities right now out there that people can develop a start with videos. And all of this, when you do a video hangout on Google, it's automatically, if it's an HOA, Hangout on Air, it's automatically archived in YouTube, so you can get started with that without trying to set up a complicated channel in YouTube or doing anything. But the idea is, are you going to get started on YouTube video or not? So I
Well,
guess
on that topic, though, the fact that you can get going really easy is one thing, and I really encourage people to take advantage of like the lights, camera, action thing to get over their camera shyness. But once you get your video up there, there's 2 or 3 things that you really want to do so that you're findable that you've gone through this effort and made the video. And those 3 things are the title. You want to be the title not cute. Not cute. Did I say not cute? Okay, not artsy, not creative and clever. That title should say what the video is about, that people would be using those words to find such a video. Okay?
Yeah, we're thinking keywords here.
Well, you can call them keywords or descriptive terms or just a title that makes sense. And you can do your own searches and see if those words you're using turn up videos about the same subject that you're talking about. And so get that crammed into your title. You can make pretty long titles, and even if they say when you make your title that seems a little long, ignore them. You can make it pretty darn long, and get enough words in there that it makes sense and actually clearly defines what your video is about. And that will match it up with more keywords. Then get your tags in there and look for other videos. You can get a little tool called vidIQ, which is a Chrome extension. And vidIQ, when you go to a website, a YouTube channel, and watch their video, it'll show you the tags that were used by the author of that video. So you can search and find out who your competition, so to speak, are, and watch their videos. Use vidIQ to show you what tags they used, and take note of them, write them down, or they have a little paperclip you can just copy wholesale all their tags, paste them in, and then edit out the ones that are superfluous. Don't leave them all in usually, but edit out the ones that are superfluous just by clicking the little X and removing them. It's easier to do it that way sometimes than typing them in. I recommend always have at least 10 tags that are relevant to what people would be searching for to get information about your thing, information from your thing. The service that you're providing is basically what you're listing in there. 10, and they up to 15. 15 is about the top end that I would put into a video. But those 2 things right away are going to make you more findable. Then in your description, be pretty verbose. I think you allowed quite a bit of space, like
Just under 1,000.
Just
words.
Under 1,000 words, yeah. 900 words.
Actually, it's like it's actually based on words and characters, so I would keep it under 1,000 words. Significantly, I would say like 950. You should be relatively safe.
Yeah, and but nonetheless, they're going to tell you when you're over anyhow. Sorry, no more room. And but the more room you can put links to other resources that you can put in there, links to other pages, links to downloads that they can use to help. That you may be mentioning tools that are available that they can use. Put the links to those in that description thing. Mention other people. This makes it more like a pillar post. Google loves it, and Google owns YouTube. Google loves it when you bring in other authority sites as part of your work. okay, when you bring in other authority sites. And that enhances your leverage. And the last item, I guess, would be encourage through actual calls to action for people to make comments, for people to subscribe. Do not assume they are going to get the idea in their own head. Ask them for comments at the end. Ask them to subscribe at the end. Literally say it. And even have a little, you can use the little, what do they call those things, the annotations, to actually put up the words. Subscribe, you know, and comment. And the comments, when you get a comment, respond to it right away, even if it's just somebody saying thank you. Say you're welcome. These things add up. Google really notices, YouTube really notices when you've responded and you have interaction going on. And when people see you're interacting, even to say you're welcome, it makes them feel more comfortable about posting into comments themselves.
Terry, that's great information, and thank you very much. If people just watch what Terry spoke right now, you ought to re-watch it and re-listen to the points that he made, because they're very, very important. And it goes to show you that the content that you're writing has to be relevant in the first place, so that when you're writing the keywords and the essential tags regarding the content, that they are accurate. Otherwise, you'll never get found with it, whether you have the tags or not. People will get to the video and it will not be pertinent and relevant to what they're searching for, relevant to the tags and the titling. So it's all got to be put together right. The one thing that, excuse me 1 second, was there something that you wanted to add, Molly?
Yeah, I think an interesting case study for the popularity of videos are those darn Kinder Egg videos. I don't know if you guys have seen these. I have a 3.5-year-old, and she is addicted to those videos, and so are thousands of other kids. So if you get an opportunity, just go to YouTube, type Kinder Egg videos, you'll see what I mean. These videos are literally getting millions of views. And it was actually brought up in the Google Partners community a few weeks ago about what's the big deal about these Kinder Egg videos? What's so special about them? Why are they getting so many views? And I think it ties into what you were just commenting about these videos do include call to actions. You know, they actually will put on the end of the screen, subscribe to our channel, or comment, or some of them even come up with I won't say keywords, but calls to actions, like they'll have a password. So they will actually advertise that password on the video, meaning so the viewers that are watching the video, they can actually gear themselves to find out, well, how many people are actually engaging with us on these videos. And Terry brought up a great point about engaging with those people who comment, who like, who are sharing your videos. I think that's a very important point to make sure, and for those folks who are interacting with you, to make sure and respond back. A thank you, you're welcome. You know, so for me, one of the things I found about just watching these, it's Family Finger Song, nursery rhymes, the Kinder Egg videos, I think the reason they're so popular is because of the audience, and the audience is children. And children, they like repetition. And so I think if we can apply that simple concept of what children are doing with these Kinder Egg, Family Finger videos to our own videos, I think that's an opportunity for business owners to use those same techniques and not necessarily make their video viral. And that's a whole nother topic about what makes a video viral. That might be a good topic of conversation for a future hangout. But really just getting in there and optimizing it, you know, include, subscribe to our channel, or like our video, or comment on our video. So I think those are all important takeaways for a business owner to include whenever you're recording a video. And it's kind of like when people come to me and they're like, Molly, can you build me a website? Yes, I can build you a website. Is it going to get a lot of traffic? I don't know, because you have to market the website, and in the same sense, you have to do the exact same thing with your video. You have to market your video. You can't expect to just record a video and thousands of people come watch it. It's not going to happen. It's going to sit up there. But if you market your video, meaning you post it in your blog, you post it in your email, You start recording a series of Hangouts where you build a library, you build your channel. Then at that point, when you start marketing that channel and telling people about, hey, I'm doing these Hangouts every week, or I'm doing these Hangouts every month, or whatever frequency you decide to do your Hangouts, that is going to be a key point in making sure that you build your audience, because that's what it's really all about. It's about building an audience. It's about building a network. And the way you do that is you start by just recording videos, build your library, build your channel, and then market it.
Thank you, Molly. I wanted to bring this up because we mentioned Rain's show. It's not Rain's show. And I wanted to post this just so we can clarify. I didn't mean to usurp Melanie Hall from her own show. It's just that the last several times that I was there, Melanie was taking a break from being in the Hangout, and you were the one running the Hangout, Rain, so I immediately thought of you. The Lights, Camera, HOA show is sponsored by Melanie Hall, and Rain Dowell and Sheila Strover, of course, worked the program regularly, and several of us have been on the program and have had a excellent time. So anyone that wants to get used to being in a Hangout should contact Rain and see what the opportunities are there. So thank you very much, and I wanted to clarify that because I'm running off at the mouth, and sometimes you miss the whole thing. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify on that one, and thank you very much, Molly, on that example of using the YouTube videos for that particular sample. And I wanted to summarize a couple things, and then we'll probably have a few closing things.
I wanted to just point out one thing that from what Molly was talking about. When you're showing, along with calling to action to subscribe and to comment, you can also put up annotation links on top of your video at the end that suggest the next video for them to watch. And that's very powerful, because then it keeps them in your channel. So you just go to the annotations thing, and it's very easy to add a little link that says, hey, watch this video next, and have it be a link to one of your other videos. And that keeps people within your channel watching your videos and watching them sequential in a sequence that might be really good. And that makes it great to do a bunch of short videos that describe certain processes, but you can lead them through a bunch of short videos by having, watch this next if you want to. Now learn about how to turn the lights on.
Excellent point, Terry, because what some people do is they actually construct it and say, hi, you're watching part one of a five-part series to accomplish this. What we are going to accomplish in this first video is blah, 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 and then take them through the short excerpt. And if you show them something of value, they're going to say, oh, man, I got to see part two. And then when they realize that the whole combination of 5 videos will enable them to do something extraordinary, they're going to go through the 5 parts. Go ahead, Molly.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Terry was saying. I really think using YouTube is it's very similar as to watching a TV show. I know as of recent, I have a Chromecast, which is a dongle which you can add to your TV, and you can throw YouTube videos up. And we've actually got to a point where we watch so many YouTube videos, it's almost like watching a TV show. So I think if you can apply some of the same concepts, next week we're going to be talking about, whatever, get that person's interest and kind of hold them by the hand and tell them that this isn't just a one-time show, thanks for watching, this is it. If you kind of preface into the next topic that you're going to be talking about, I think that's a great technique to not only engage that person, but to build an audience, because if that person really likes that particular topic that you're saying, hey, next week we're talking about, they can go and in turn tell their network, hey, Molly's going to be talking about SEO next week, so I know you're interested in SEO, so you may want to check out the show. So that was just it.
Thank you, Molly. That's great stuff. I think that Karen had some follow-up too.
Yeah, I think we're back to Molly and Terry. I guess the other thing about YouTube, what I noticed at the end with the subscribe, please subscribe, and the annotations is also previewing or suggesting if you have a body of that library, as you mentioned, putting that as samples that people can actually see, where they can click on seeing some other portion or other video that you've created. I think that's a really good opportunity to kind of spread your message.
Absolutely. And they recommend that even in a text blog, they say using reference to other things that you have created as content is a really good idea. So referring to your own stuff can't get any more relevant for your purposes than ever. So definitely want to follow those things. We've only got 4 minutes to go here, and the hour went quickly. But I wanted to encapsulate a few things and cover one thing that we really didn't hit much. First of all, we're really in videos for YouTube. We are really talking about back to basics, relevant content. And no matter how expensive a video production you have, if the content is not relative, you're dust. And if it's not relevant to your concept, you're dust. But the general environment today is that the people watching these videos are very acceptant of lesser production, lesser quality, if you're handing them content of value. So that's the bottom line thing. We went over this in Karen in your community before, and Bill Graham happened to mention, man, we're really talking about relevance. Relevance is the main key. And when people get this ingested into their system, they start thinking about what the content is they're promoting and what they're developing and what they're adding to their online presence on a weekly or daily basis. And it's all got to be pretty valuable. And if you do, you're not going to have to worry so much about page 1 search results because you'll be the most relevant person there. The other thing is the call to action. Every video needs a call to action. And we are not talking about buy my product now or this type of thing. But what Terry was saying, like an introduction to a next video or a step 2 or something related to it or more of the same content, you have to do some kind of inviting that leads the thinker to go, oh, I can step beyond this video that I just watched that I enjoyed and get more of it or get the next thing or get the next step. And that's what the call to action is. So it does not have to be a call to buy something or to sell something to somebody. It can be an introduction and an offer, an invitation for more information, and that's way more valuable. When you're building a community and a following like this, that's more valuable. The one thing that we did not cover maybe at all here, and to me it's vitally important, is that YouTube videos have a transcription that is automatically generated by YouTube. And when they make this, it's like one of these, like your cell phone audio where it's trying to translate what you're saying into text words, and it's about as accurate as that. The issue with the transcription is that the transcription is how YouTube categorizes and indexes your video, not just your title, not just your tags and keywords, etc., but your transcription. And if your transcription is translated wrong, which it almost always is, your video cannot be categorized properly. So the thing to recognize is when you're producing YouTube videos, especially, well, it's hard to do for Hangouts on Air because you're 30 minutes long or an hour long, and that's a lot of transcription. But if you're making a 2-minute video or something short like that, you really owe it to yourself to go over the transcription as recorded by YouTube and immediately be prepared to edit that and write it up properly so you can be indexed and categorized on the right subject and the right keywords and the right way for people to find you on YouTube. So I just wanted to add that. And with that,
if people are looking for that transcription, they should be aware that after the video, it could take several hours to even 24 hours or 2 days, depending on the length of the video, for their transcription, their automated transcription to show up for them to then have available to edit.
Wow.
It's not immediate in longer videos.
I would say that has not been my experience. I usually can retrieve the transcription in a matter of minutes. But
oh yeah.
But that's my experience.
I usually can't, because all mine are over an hour, and it seems if you go over an hour, they put you on a back burner.
There's no doubt. So that it takes longer for them to actually perform the transcription and to get that uploaded parallel to your video if it's a longer episode. Although I would say I transcribed, edited my first Hangout that was critical to me, and it was about an hour long, and I did that all in the same session where I uploaded the video. So it was probably 15 or 20 minutes. You know, I got through titling and doing a few things, and then there it was. So I went ahead and addressed the transcription. But the main thing that this whole Hangout is designed for today, I believe that we have accomplished, and that is to build up the watchers and the listeners and the attendees' excitement to get started with YouTube. It's one of the 3 pillars in the tripod that I've always been talking about, the internet marketing tripod. If you're marketing online and you're not doing YouTube, you only got 2 legs on a 3-leg table, and so that you have to build it up. And if you're not doing YouTube, you're just simply missing the opportunity that is the wave of the now. It's not even a future thing. It's now, right here and now, and you should be doing it. So I suppose this is as good a place as any to wrap this up. There's so much more discussion that can take place, and we might have to have a future follow-up. We are going to invite Albert in and give us some pointers as far as critical lighting and camera and microphone issues and specific tactics. I'm really happy that we got into strategies somewhat today, because it's not just about going through the motions. You really have to have a strategy, but you can get creative with your strategy and really make YouTube videos work for you right away. So that's our message for today. And if anyone has a sign-off line, if they want to add to this.
I actually do.
Yeah.
Just 2 more thoughts there. YouTube in general, it's the number 2 search engine. So definitely you gotta be on YouTube just because it's the number 2 search engine. 2, in terms of I think we talked about engagement, having a consistent calendar of producing videos and having that up on your channel are key, so that you can get those engagers, you can have those conversations, and you can follow up. And so that would be my number 3. And I think Rain Dow has something here that I would want to put up, and I'm going to post it. It's about time stamping.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, right? You can also timestamp the HOA. You can use timestamps in a Google Plus post, and then paste that timestamp info into the description of the YouTube video too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, those are great tidbits, and among the absolute long page worth of stuff that we couldn't cover in this Hangout today. But thank you, Rain. That's great.
Yeah, my closing thought would be just to get started, start small, add on these little points that we've been bringing up as you're getting used to and comfortable with each one. So once you get used to coming up with good titles and doing the title research, good. Then move on to adding tags and doing tag research. And then move on to doing a good description thing and having it full, and maybe with timestamps and stuff. Tackle each thing one at a time, but the only way you're really going to get comfortable is by uploading those videos, getting into that back-end editor, and starting to do the little work. It'll become like second nature almost overnight for you. And then a year from now, remember, a year from now is going to be here anyway. So you may as well get started now so that a year from now, it's like second nature.
Great. That's a great advice, Terry. Molly?
Yeah, I would add to what excuse me, what Terry just said, that I think it's just really about just getting started, just making that decision that you're going to do it, practicing. You know, for me, I started just watching Hangouts. From there, I started participating in the green room. You know, even if it's with a family member or a friend or your dog, you know, just get used to seeing yourself on your monitor, hearing your voice, looking at yourself, learning how to conduct yourself, and just practicing. It's like any other professions. Practice, practice, practice. Once you get in there, you get comfortable with it, you'll actually get to a point where it becomes second nature, and you won't even give it a second thought. So my advice is just get started as soon as possible.
Thank you, Molly. It's a great wrap-up for our program because the whole concept is to pull all stops and quit looking at the reasons why you shouldn't do it right now. Because there's always going to be a reason that you shouldn't do it. And I'm not one to listen to people tell me I shouldn't, so I'm probably the best medicine that anyone out there is going to have. If you want encouragement, I'm always like, go ahead, go do it, go try it. And you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be real. So let's let this sink in, and I hope everybody gets the idea that you too can be involved in a YouTube campaign to accent your overall online presence. And I really wish you well for that, and I'll encourage you. So people, get started. And that's our wrap-up for today. Thank you very much, Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. I appreciate you all around the world who joined us. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.